know I had it here somewhere. Hello. Oh, there it is. Hello, replay people. Just waiting for my audience to come on. And I had this feeling this morning like I just want to go back in time. Sometimes I think about the 80s and I miss the 80s. It was a place where I was really, really happy. Yes, I had some shit happen in the 80s, but hey, Lone Wolf. But I just remember that as the greatest decade of my life. Do you agree? Couldn't have only been me thinking that the 80s were the best. Hey, good morning, Darla. Hi, Fred. Oh, I need my coffee. I know it's not even 9 o'clock. But I just wanted to go back in time today. And, you know, there's going to be people coming on. They don't remember the 80s. They will be jealous. So if you guys don't mind the moderating. Hi, Tina. I know. My kids were little in the 90s. They were born in the 90s. But I grew up in the 80s. I've got some of the top 20 greatest songs. And please excuse my lisp. I'm still getting used to the new tooth. It hurts, but it looks so much better, right? Hi, Holly. Happy Saturday. The 70s were good too. I don't remember them as well as I remember the 80s. I was born in 1965. Yeah, I do remember the 70s, but I just remember the 80s as having so much fun. All right, what was your favorite song that always reminds you of the 80s? I have a list here, and I'm gonna Acapulco some of them for you so we can kind of go back in time because, you know, music is what does that. Music takes you back in time. Holly's my girl, but you're a boomer, aren't you, Holly? No, are you? Are you a boomer? We're all on the cusp, aren't we? All of us 60 years old, and I can't believe we're 60. It's so crazy. Another one bites the dust, yeah. Another one bites the dust, hey, hey. Another one bites the dust, hey. 1955, Charlene the Boomer. Fred is a Gen Xer. We miss the 70s too, Paul. I agree. But I feel like the 70s were just preparing us all for the 80s. You know, when the future was so bright, we had to wear shades. Remember that? Hi, Ruben. Yeah, we're all in-betweeners, Holly. All of us who are 60, 61, 59. We are all on the cusp of the generations. So we do straddle boomers and Gen Xers, but and Lobo is some kind of a hostage. I hope you're joking, Lobo. A little bit creepy. Anyway, yeah, Fred knows. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what it was all about, right? Happy birthday, Ruben. So you are Gen X, aren't you, Ruben? Because, well, you were born in 1965, right? You're one of us. We're on the cusp, don't you know? Yeah, and the 90s made the 60s look like the 50s. That's a good one, Paul. How about, Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who says that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. That was a crazy song, right? We were all singing the weirdest stuff in the 80s. I don't know. Darla's not having any of it today. So do be respectful. 70s was a kid, but 80s was the best times also for Tina. Tina knows. How about take on me, take on me, take me on. That was from 1985. And Madonna, she came onto the scene super hard, didn't she? I loved her back in the day. I don't know what the heck has happened to her since, but Madonna, she was so awesome. Hey Bendel, hey CK, good morning. Yes, and MTV. Now, I loved MTV. I didn't love television. I was never into television, but I did love MTV. I wanted my MTV. Good morning, Ian. Hi, Papa Bear. Hi, hi. Oh, two Ians. No, the same Ian. Ian misses the 20s. All right. Well, you got us cooked there, Ian. Wait, you mean like the 20s, like we're in the 20s? That's kind of crazy. Yeah, Madonna's definitely, I think she did too much sex, drugs, and rock and roll in the 80s. Something happened to her. Sorry, you guys. I have got to do something with my mop top here. My hair is just too much this morning, and it's super humid, and I've got kind of a fan going on, but it's still not helpful. The 80s and the 90s were the best time in the United States in pretty much every aspect. Economically, new technology, everyone had rights. Yeah, that's a really good way to point it out, Josiah. That did make it crazy. Hey Louise, do you just randomly come on people's shows and say crap like that to them? Really? You think you have any chance with me? Nobody has a chance with me, so keep dreaming. And try to be more respectful to women you don't know, because we don't want to hear your crap, okay? We created MTV by playing mixtapes to TV movies with no sounds. I know, Holly, we did it all first. Yes, it was great. Thank you, Mork. Mork! Remember Mork and Mindy? That was in the 70s, but I think that was one of the best shows I ever saw in my life. Louise is only thinking about sex, darling, so just kick him off. Nobody cares. Tina says, can you imagine in the 80s that we would have these phones like the Jetsons? I know, it's so crazy. It's so funny that you're calling yourself Mork the Orc. Nobody knows Nanu Nanu. You were on the right show, Mark. I hope you guys like and subscribe, because if you enjoy the Beach Report today, you will know that you have found your tribe. Yeah, off to the sharks. We're not talking about sex over here. Nobody cares. More calling Orson. Come in, Orson. I know, right? It was so funny. I remember I was in 7th grade when Mork and Mindy came out. And every day, I think it was on a Tuesday that show ran, and every Wednesday we would come into school, we were all nanu, and we were just laughing our butts off. And Alf was so funny too. Good morning, Duke. Alf was hilarious, actually. And it is sad for Robin Williams. And that was his first real taste of fame, wasn't it? Solar's here. Hi, Solar. Drinking my coffee through a straw. Wow, there's someone really angry about Florida. What's wrong with you? Oh, Alf loved cats a little too much, Ian. Yeah, didn't he eat cats? Hey, Ernst. Let's see what other good songs were there. Well, life is a mystery. Everyone must stand in line. I see your face, da-da, and it feels like... I can't remember the words. Oh, Fleetwood Mac had that song Everywhere. That was a good song. How about everybody wants to rule the world? I know, I wanted to rule the world. How about you? Now, not so much. Yeah, Madonna was great till she turned into some kind of very strange creature with an English accent. Hey Mopar, I am doing great. Living my best life here in South Florida. Good morning, Madi. Papa don't preach. That was a great song. I'm in trouble deep. Papa don't preach. And you know what? That song was really important to me because I was adopted as a baby. And to hear Madonna sing, I'm keeping my baby, I loved it. Oh, and Cyndi Lauper, girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. I had every Madonna album. I loved Madonna. I am in Fort Lauderdale, Florida this morning. Good morning, Retro. Hi, Cuthbert. How about every breath you take, every move you make, every scene you break, every da, I'll be watching you. Now that was a scary song, actually. If you remember the MTV music video for it, it was kind of creepy. And then I watched soap operas back then, and I'll never forget that all my children had a storyline where this girl was being stalked, and it was that song they used. My name is Jill. You can just call me Jill Ernst. Say hi. Hello, Rebecca. The Human League. Oh my gosh. How did that song go? Now I'm hearing the Voices Carry song, but that wasn't Human League. Human League was great too. I'm going to take you guys back to the 80s today. When Doves Cry. That was Prince in 1984. Oh my gosh, I have so many stories. Or like, I remember the first time I ever saw Prince was in person, and he pushed me into a Pac-Man machine. Hey, Cassiopeia. Hello, Deutschland. Oh, don't you want me? Yeah. It's so crazy. Oh, living on a prayer. Okay, back to the Prince story. So I was in high school. I think I was 16 years old, maybe 17 at the most. And we were in Hampton, Virginia at my cousin's bar mitzvah. And we were staying in a hotel. And there was this great big, trailer, like a, what's it called? Like a big RV. And it was beautiful. And it was painted purple, and it had horses all over it. And my sister and I were huge fans of horses. We loved horses, my sister especially. And when we saw that RV, we were like, whoa, what is that all about? We had no idea that we were about to meet Prince. So we went into the hotel right after the bar mitzvah was over, and apparently that was when Prince's concert had ended. So there were all these fans at the hotel, but they couldn't get in the hotel unless they had a key. Of course, we had keys. We didn't even know what was going on. So we were there was like a vestibule that went into the hotel, and there were some games there, like Pac-Man and whatever Atari video games were going on at the time. And I was playing Ms. Pac-Man. I'll never forget this. So I'm playing my Ms. Pac-Man game, and suddenly Prince walks in, and all these women, and they all had darker skin than me, let's just put it that way, and they were going crazy, and they're screaming and everything, and I'm like, what is going on? And so he had this great big bodyguard with him. The guy was huge, but Prince, he did not need a bodyguard. I'll tell you, he was bodyguarding himself. So he was going through, and he was like pushing people out of the way, and he pushed me into the Ms. Pac-Man machine like super hard. I'm like kissing Blinky there, and I was like, what the hell? And when I popped up, all these black girls ran at me, and they started touching me, and they're like, Prince just touched you. And I'm like, what is happening? Anyway, it was really crazy. And the next day, back at school on Monday, and I told my friends about this guy, Prince, that pushed me into a Ms. Pac-Man machine. And only one of my friends, good old Lori Obardo, she was like, wow, Jill, that's huge. That's when I found out who Prince was. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Hold on. Under Pressure. Under Pressure has got to be one of my all-time favorite songs. Under Pressure. Under Pressure. Oh, Jump. Remember, Jump. Got a wild jump. Hey, Cuthbert. How about the Eye of the Tiger? Hey, Scobie, thank you. careless whisper of a good friend. I'm just mashing up all these 80 songs. Don't mind me. Oh, she's got Betty Davis eyes. We didn't even know who Betty Davis was, really. It was great. Purple rain, purple rain. I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor. Feeling like a little kid. We still love Elton John. Oh my gosh, so much going on. What other things you guys talking about? Oh, Phil Collins. Man, I loved him too. Oh, his songs in the 80s were amazing. And my favorite album by Phil Collins was Hello, I Must Be Going. You were lonely and you needed a friend, and he was there at the right time with the right smile. Just a soldier to lean, just a shoulder to lean on, someone to tell you it'll work out all right. Does anyone know that song? Don't let him steal your heart away. Please don't let him steal your heart away. I see Maudie is passionate about music from the 80s and the 90s. Well, you're in the right place, Maudie, because that's the only kind of music we really like. Well, we like music from the 70s, too. Christ Has Risen is here. Hi, how you doing? Oh, everybody's on this morning. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Hi, Sienna. Little red Corvette. Yeah, she wore a raspberry beret. The kind you sell in a secondhand store. Duran Duran, Be Still My Heart. Oh my gosh, I hear music in my head. It's crazy. Knew a girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend. Met her in a hotel lobby, masturbating to a magazine. She said, how'd you like to waste some time? And I could not resist. Well, I saw little Nikki grind. That was a crazy song, and I remember thinking, I can sing this song. Yeah, her name is Rio, and she dances on the Flint. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Wait, it's hard. There are so many songs going through my head right now. Oh my gosh. How about Don't Stop Believing? I mean, we were all into Journey back then. Yeah, the giant TVs. No, I don't remember the giant TVs coming out that year. You know, Meow, don't talk about me that way, okay? You show us who you are, and it's rude. You don't have to wonder what I looked like when I was in my 20s, because I look just like this, but without the wrinkles. So rude. Anyway. I never met Phil Collins, but I did have the opportunity to see him in person. So back in the 80s, in 1988, I got my dream job. I worked for MTV. Now, I worked for MTV Networks. I didn't actually work for MTV because, you know, you didn't make music videos back then. The music companies made the videos. So I worked for MTV Networks, but I worked for Nickelodeon. Anyway, I was surrounded by MTV everywhere, and the Nickelodeon days were some of my best. But I was also working in television throughout New York City. I was also a proofreader for Rolling Stone magazine, so I was like right in the mix all the time. Video killed the radio store. It was Radio Store, I believe. Video killed the radio store. That was really a more European song. And I moved to Europe in 1990, so I have a very eclectic taste in music because I have the European mixes and the American mixes. Oh my gosh, we are just crazy here. Hey, Benny, what's up? Okay, so wait, I gotta tell you my Phil Collins story. So I used to work in a place called National Video. Do you guys remember? Yeah, we didn't have slime on our shows though, Tina. Slime was like a Canadian thing, apparently. No, it was a Nickelodeon thing. Maybe we did have slime on Total Panic. I worked on one show, it was called Don't Just Sit There. And then the other show that was filmed in our studio was Studio 55, the former Jim Henson studio. Anyway, Total Panic filmed there too. So we shared staff with both shows. Anyway, I also worked at a place called National Video. If you guys remember the movie Tootsie, Tootsie was filmed in National Video with Dustin Hoffman. And I worked there. And I used to be able to go to all the different sound stages while I was working. I was a PA, which stands for production assistant. I did things like teleprompter. I did things like buy food for the green room, all sorts of stuff. It was super fun, Tina. So one day I find out that Phil Collins is in the next sound stage. Got to watch Tootsie, then you'll see where I worked. So, ooh, I hear thunder. Looks like we might get some rain. Anyway, I hear that Phil Collins is in the next sound stage. I just got to go see him. So me and some of my friends, we ran over and we're kind of peeking through. And here's what I heard him say. I'm just a drummer who sings. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. I just heard this Phil Collins quote come right out of his mouth. I'm just a drummer who sings. And then I found out maybe just a few years ago that Phil Collins didn't really say that. He stole it, and you'll never believe who he stole that quote from. See if you can guess. Can you guess who's just a drummer who sings? I'll give you one hint. It was a woman. Yes, I love musicology. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Joseph. Who's just a drummer who sings? Give you a little more time to figure it out. You'll probably never figure it out. Although I think I have told you this story before. CK knows. That's right, Karen Carpenter. I knew someone here had to know it. Yep, Karen Carpenter. Jay Payne, I know you think you're giving me a compliment, but this is just my body. I'm not here showing it off for men, so please stop. Hi, Two Stroke. The Go-Go's. Oh my gosh. Our lips are sealed. They talk about us telling lies. Well, that's no surprise. Hi, Ricky. This is my home. This is not a hotel. Hi, Joseph. I love classic rock too, and I think we're going to see a really great show for classic rock tonight. You were talking about me on your channel, Ricky? Wow, thank you. I never do yoga. I don't like yoga. I feel like it's praying to gods I don't believe in, so I don't do yoga. Yes, you guessed it, darling. Good job. Hey, Seneca, do you think we're going to date? Write your number down. Come on, be realistic here. I'm 60 years old. I'm a widow. I don't date. So I'm just going to put that out there so you guys can stop looking at me with, feelings of lust. Okay, I'm an old lady. I'm not interested in you or your anything or anything, okay? I'm just here a woman on my own. Oh, look, now we've got the sugar mama movement. I call you hobosexuals. You just want a mommy, don't you? Guess what? I've raised my kids. I got no desire whatsoever to raise somebody else's children at this point of my life. Wow, really rude people on this morning. They don't have any respect, darling. You know what to do. You got to watch out, you guys. You're going to talk this way to me, and my mods they'll chuck you in that water so fast. And there are sharks in there. They're my friends. Jasper, nice cup of coffee, eggs and sausage, boiled tomato with taste. Great way to start a day. Can you cook for me, please? That does sound really nice. Thank you, Ricky. I agree. Poor Darla. Darla, you work so hard for us. Can everybody please give some kudos to Darla and the other mods? You guys do such a great job here. And I know it's not easy to have to be confronted with these very disgusting comments because people in the world, man, the men especially, really, really nasty. And jealous women aren't very nice either. You're the best, Darla. Go, Darla. How about I went to the danger zone? My ex-girlfriend cheats once, but the Indian government, what? System cheats every day. Well, there's that. I don't hang out with cheaters. Aw, Jasper. Too bad you can't cook for me, because I don't like to cook. Random account, I'm glad you're here. This is a regular occurrence. It's every single day you're on the beach report. I've been doing this show for more than 10 years now, and I love it, and I love my followers. I was mostly on Facebook to start with, but I had to go over to YouTube because Facebook kicked me off for several years, and I was like, I'll go find another audience. And I found the greatest audience with you guys on YouTube. So thank you for being here. Yeah, go, darling, go. You've got some work for you. They're still coming out of the woodwork over here. Yes, much, much respect. How about Total Eclipse of the Heart? What a great song. Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart. You're right, Heidi. A lot of live streamers have gone, and I think it might be because of AI. And a lot of people are looking for live shows with real people on them. You found them. Here we go. More Are You Single? Do you think I'm going to date you? What are you thinking? Crazy people. Oh, Bonnie Tyler's not with us anymore. I did not know that. Andrea Butterfly is here. Good morning, my sister in Christ. I love it. She always prays Psalms 91 over everybody. Thank you. We love you, Andrea Butterfly. Don't get any customers. For what, Darla? What you talking about? How about Uptown Girl? She's been living in her right lane world. I'll bet she never had a backstreet guy. I'll bet her mother never told her why. I'm gonna try for an uptown girl. Or how about this one? Remember Men at Work Down Under? Did you ever eat a Vegemite sandwich? Did you ever try Vegemite? Oh my gosh, that stuff is rank. Unless you're from Australia. Well, no, we can never forget. Oh my gosh, Michael Jackson. He ruled the 80s, didn't he? Darla, I'm so sorry that you have to look at these disgusting comments. They're so rude. Wow. I'll bet their mothers never raised them right. No, Vegemite is not like Spam. It is like super, super salty. I don't know what the hell is in it, but it's really salty. It's not like anything you've ever tasted ever in your life. Oh, Africa, what a great song. Toto is great. I know, Darla, I'm so sorry. Pop, pop, pop music. Pop, pop, pop music. Pop, pop, pop music. Jackson Autopsy, he was bald. Wow, I could believe it. Thank you, Mike. I know. I feel badly sometimes that Darla has to see these horrible comments. But if I got to see them, Darla, you got to see them too. You know, sometimes she doesn't even let me see them. And I love that about her because she really does protect me. And it does kind of throw me off when these people, oh, random account, thank you. I always like to ask new streamers I see this question. What would you do differently in life if you could start over at 18? That's a great question. What would I do differently? Well, I can tell you this. I would not pick up cigarettes, alcohol, or any kind of drugs, except, I don't know, the marijuana really hasn't changed my life or made it bad, so I would do that still. But all the other stuff, I would not do that. If I could start over at 18, another thing I would do is I would respect myself a lot more. I would look at my future maybe in a different way. I got really sidetracked when I was a teenager. And thank you for asking this question, because it really does make me think random. I don't know what your real name is, but I wrote a book. This is called, well, I'll turn it around so you can see. I wrote this book about my adoption. That's me. on my first birthday. Do you think about me on my birthday is the title of the book, A Mind-Blowing Adoption Story by me. I'm not ever going to get married again, Michael, so you're going to have to look elsewhere. Darla says, I would still marry my husband and have my 3 kids, then divorce him. He was a jerk, abusive and inconsiderate. And I'm super sorry. Marky Mark read my book. You can buy this book, actually, on my website, jillbooks.com. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do this 80s show is because my book is actually set in the 80s. And another thing that I wish I had done differently is I wish that I had not been stalked by my biological father, because when he found me and my parents got divorced, and they really upended my life and the way that I thought about myself. So if I could start over, wow, there isn't much I would do differently, but I would have a lot more respect for myself. Yeah, Ricky also, me too. I would still have the kids and leave. Well, I did do that. I had my kids in Switzerland, actually, and I ended up leaving him. Jasper says, I would still love and marry my wife, just disappointed, or just disciplined my kids more. Yeah, I can see that. Bruce. Who's Bruce? Andrea says, I'm glad you're telling me this. I have an estranged father that I haven't seen since I was 2. My mother has recently been trying to get in contact with him, even though I asked her not to. Ooh, Andrea, that's a tough one. And you know what? I think you have good instincts, and I don't think you should subject yourself to the man who abandoned you when you were 2. Fern, do you remember your first love and why? Well, it's in this book. And why? Because he was the first. Do I love him still? No. No, it would have been terrible if I would have ended up with him. Well, I guess it wouldn't have been terrible, because it would have meant that he cared about me, but he didn't care about me. So I learned the hard way. Your life sounds so interesting. I love hearing your stories. Oh, Ricky, I got tons of them. I did lead an interesting life. I still do. Oh, you're talking about Bruce Springsteen. Born in the USA. Well, he went full libtard, so nobody respects Bruce Springsteen anymore. Oh, okay. Dr. South Shore Drive, Punta Gorda is a beautiful place. That's true. I love Punta Gorda. Yes, you can buy this book on my website. You can't buy it anywhere else. Nope. I will not work with Amazon. I will not sell my soul to the devil. I do the Beach Report purely for you guys. I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have any sponsors. I don't sell anything that I didn't make myself. Although I do have some pillows and a beach bag on my website that you can purchase that is made by someone else, but I designed it myself. I am a Messianic Jew. So I don't know what that matters, but, well, I do like to talk about Jesus. Andrea says, I've looked my father up. He's still up until a couple years ago, been in and out of jail. My mom tells me she just wants him to see how good I'm doing, but I feel like that wouldn't end well. I agree with you, Andrea. You don't need a man in your life who never came through for you and is obviously not very good at handling his own life. Andrea, you are wonderful, and you are a gift from God, and guess who your father really is? That's right, just like me. That's my father. He's in heaven. Lord God. Jesus is my guy. There is no audio version of my book, Papa Bear. I know I have to do that. I know I gotta do it just for you. I'm really, you know what? I'm gonna hold you in my mind when I do my audio book, because I am terrible at finishing this project. It's a problemo, and I gotta do it. So Papa Bear, I know you can't read it if it's printed, and I'm gonna make that audio book, and I'm gonna dedicate it to Papa Bear. Random, you said the word libtard. That makes me happy. Liked and subscribed. Oh, that was easy. So I am a real journalist. You can see Marky Mark is saying I'm the best journalism. And I am the real thing. I went to journalism school. I graduated from the Scripps School of Journalism in 1987. And I can't believe the way journalism has changed. Andrea, the only Father I need, the only one true God in heaven, I am that I am, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Woo! And you don't need anything else, Andrea. So I totally agree with you. Your instincts, you follow your heart. And you stay away from that man who does not have your best interests at heart. He doesn't even have his own best interests at heart. So what are you going to do? You know, I feel the same. I have a father out there. He's still alive. The one who raised me is, I would say he's in heaven, but I'm not really sure. Sorry, Dad. I don't know where you are. But anyway, I'm always having too much fun, Heidi. It's just what I do. You should have tried news reporter, TV news reporter. Hell to the no, Heidi. Those people are liars. This is why I would never be a TV news reporter. Most of the times, those news reporters, they're just talking heads. They don't research their own stories. Maybe some of them do, but for the most part, they read whatever is handed to them. And they don't get to edit it, and they don't get to change it, even if it goes against their values, principles, and morals. Even if they know that it's a total lie, they still have to read it. I would never do that. 83 degrees in North Texas. I think it's probably in the 90s here in South Florida. Oh, Papa Bear, it's not that I'm doing it for you. It's that you give me inspiration because people ask about it all the time. Everyone wants me to do audiobooks, and they want me to read it myself because they like the way I read. Yeah, red wave incoming. I am in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Jeff. Mr. Wick, keep the great content going. We need more channels like yours in our times with all the craziness going on. Have a blessed day. Yes, I am your real person, and I will always be here for you. Mainstream news is now guard dogs for the left. You don't need them. Thank you. That's right. Grew up with Walter Cronkite. No, even Walter Cronkite wasn't real. I'm sorry to tell you that, but he got paid a lot of money to lie to us. I know, Knife Man. I was born in 65, and I love it. Libtards everywhere. Did you see the president at the dinner last night? I didn't see what he said because I couldn't get through the dinner because I had to listen to all of these journalists talking about how great they are. And I'm like, I hate that. But I would like to know what President Trump said. Jeff says, I love Fort Lauderdale. I fly in there often and go and stay at the Eden Rock Hotel in Miami Beach before I tour the Keys. That sounds like fun. That's a nice hotel. I've never been there, but I know of it. Fourth term incoming president. Oh, was it? He said he was going to keep running, right? I did see that, Marky Mark. I did see that. He said something like, I'm getting really good at running for president. I'm just going to keep doing it. That's cool. Okay, you guys. Since I told you I wanted to go back to the 80s, I'm going to read you, Papa Bear, here you go. Here's your audiobook example. I'm going to read you what it was like to grow up in the 80s. So, and this is about the boy. All right, are you ready? Let's go. This is right in the middle of my book. This is a pretty big book, 365 pages, but the printing is a little bit larger for us older folks who don't like books with super small print. My followers asked me to do it this way, and I designed the book so it would be easier to read. All right, here we go. Wait. Jeff saw him at dinner last night. God bless President Trump. He looked exhausted and the hardest working president we've ever known. You're right. Papa Bear, born in 1977. You do remember the 80s. You were a little kid, but you remembered. Wow, random. I will send you a signed copy. Just go to my website and I will I will do that. In fact, I will do you one better than a signed copy. I will put in a peacock feather. From peacocks, I raised myself. I don't own them anymore. They live up in on a farm in Citra, Florida, but I still have the feathers. So everybody who buys my book, well, actually, I have more than one book to sell. This is my first book, Like It Was Yesterday, A Journalist's Files Since 9/11. If you appreciate the fact that I am a one-woman show and I do everything myself, and that includes designing, writing, designing, and printing and publishing my own books. I am also I'm a boutique publisher. That's how you say it. Yeah, boutique publisher. And the first book I produced for somebody else is this one, still standing. However, we are working on a second issue of it because my writer, Joshua Daniel Hayes, he wasn't happy with the book the way it is. He wanted to really expand on it. So I think you guys will really like this second edition. It will be coming out soon. Marky Mark and the Seashells. I'm still listening. I got to get out of here and start mowing and doing some work. Everybody have a blessed day. I'm glad you're still here. We always need you, Marky Mark. Hey, Marco Polo's in the house too. Oh, my people. Andrea was born in 81, but my family was poor, so we were about 10 years behind on everything. Oh, Andrea, it sounds like you really had some bad times in your life. But don't we all? You know, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Okay, get ready. This chapter will be embarrassing for me to read, so please be kind. All right. No. Boutique publisher. I'm sorry, the new thing in my mouth, the tooth thing, it's a little hard to talk around, but I'm getting there. Okay. Of course, darling. Now you're always the first to get the books. Okay, so, and please put my website up there for anyone who does want to check it out and buy a book and get it signed and get a free peacock feather with it. Okay. All right, random. Screen record. You mean my reading? I've done it so many times, and you're right, I should do that too. I am not good at self-promotion. Honestly, I do this show every single day because I love it and because I love you. But when it comes to selling myself, I've had a tough time because I have two feelings. That the work I do is so amazing that nobody could ever possibly afford me, or I just want to do everything for free. I want everybody to have everything that I do for free. And it's not the best way to live, I'll tell you that. Because I do have to sell books. I do have to pay bills. Everything costs money for me just like it does for everybody else. And I sometimes think that, I can fly above it. All right, anyway. All right, Marky Mark, you'll be the second. I'm glad that you let Darla do that. It's really important to her. What do I do for a living? You're looking at it. I'm an author. I'm a journalist. I'm a writer. I'm an editor. I'm a publisher. I'm a filmmaker. I do many things for a living. Sometimes I even babysit dogs, and I make money off of that too. I think I've got maybe 10 different income streams at the moment. None of them really huge, but I'm getting by because I work really hard, and I'm probably the last, I know I'm not saying other people are not like me, because I know I'm not alone in this, but I think when it comes to journalists, not a lot of people are willing to do it like I do it. Papa Bear says, my channel never lets you like the stream. I need to write a complaint. Please write a complaint, because what is that all about? It's not all those careers. It's one career. Writer. Journalist. I don't know. You do lots of things when you have talents. You have to use them all. I believe that's why I sing to you guys on the Beach Report. I'm not a singer, but I like to sing, and I have a talent for knowing all the words. Even not always for the songs, but I try. Random Rants is here. Okay. You got to change your name, you random people, because random is like really not anyone's name. It's so random. All right, Marco Polo, have a great baseball game. Okay, are you guys ready for story time? Yes, I do a lot, Gloria. I love those people who tell me to get a job. What? Those people who think that I'm just out here blah 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 with no basis whatsoever. Why follow me? I don't know. You tell me. My haters hate me real bad. It's funny. Okay, I'm going to start reading. So I won't really be looking at the comments, because if I do, it'll take me off my mark. Yeah, get a job, work a day, do something. Oh, to be a little boy sitting down on a carpet for story time. Yes, for a woman like me. All right, well, here we go. Get ready. This chapter is called Safety Dancing. Oh, thank you so much. I am the random that supports the stream. Okay, now random account has a good point, just saying. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Because, like I said, girl still has to pay bills. Okay, now you get your story time. And it's in the middle of the book, so you're just gonna have to catch up. But this is what it was like to date in the 1980s. Oh, Marky Mark, thank you. Whoever's having problem liking this stream, if you hit the 3 dots at the right top corner, it gives you an option to share and also to like there. Sometimes you have to do that. I don't know why, but thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, money doesn't buy love. No, it doesn't. I totally agree with that. Okay, here we go. Oh, Papa Bear figured it out. Okay, you had to jump through some hurdles and you did it. So thank you. And thank you, Marky Mark, for helping. And especially thank you to Random Account. Okay, safety dancing. Let's go. I'm not looking at you anymore. I'm going to read now. I don't know, Papa Bear. But do what you need to do, please. I need all the help I can get. Wow, Random Account is really stepping up here. And I think this is the first time you've ever been on. Now, the rest of you need to follow this guy. Thank you. I'm guessing you're a man, but tell me if you're not, because I like you a lot. Okay, now I'm going to read. I'm the random that supports the stream, but also has a family to support. Thank you. And I'm a 60-year-old woman who has myself to support, which is also important because you get to be a certain age and you just can't do all the things like you did when you were younger. But it's okay, I never stop. Random, you won't be sorry for your support. Thank you. And there are plenty of people on this stream right now who have always supported me too, and I thank you guys so much. Okay, safety dancing. Scott returned at 8 p.m. as promised and held her hand as they walked towards the bayside. Leah, that's my alter ego, was so nervous she could barely look at him as they strode down the street. Yet she somehow found voice enough to answer his questions about the kind of music she liked. They reached the door to Schooner's and she stiffened at the sight of the bouncers carting a long line of people. What again? Oh my gosh, you are always allowed to interrupt me with a very generous donation like that. I feel like I hit the jackpot this morning. What is going on? This is so amazing. Oh, Papa Bear has to use voiceover. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Papa Bear is blind and does the best that he can. And that's why I'm reading today, because in what's the word I'm looking for? In order to help Papa Bear hear my book. Will the real Marky Mark please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. We've got a lot of Marky Marks on too. Marky Marks and randoms. And you're right. Love doesn't pay the bills. Love is forever. Oh, there's Bill Gates. Hi, Bill Gates. Okay. I'm going to read. It's cool, he whispered, leading her towards the door and nodding to the bouncer, who all but ignored them as they bypassed the line, walking through the front entrance and headed for the bar. Within minutes, he handed her a beer, which she happily accepted, hoping a little alcohol would calm the butterflies in her stomach. Random, here we go again. You're so right. Never paid a mortgage with love. I feel so blessed right now. Really, I can't thank you enough, Random Account. This is really kind. Really kind. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys remember a song from the 80s called Safety Dance? Because this is in my book. When the song Safety Dance began playing, Scott said, "I like this song. Wanna dance?" S S S S A A A A F F F F E E E E T T T T Y Y Y Y. Save, 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 save. Dance, 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 dance. Remember that song? Do 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 do. I know, I love that song. He led her onto the dance floor, and she did the safety dance with him, unaware that the dangerous part was about to begin. Leah wasn't known for her dance moves, but this night she was in fine form, which was a good thing because he really liked to dance. Feeling uncharacteristically graceful, she followed his lead nicely, held his hand, and moved her hips to the music. We can dance if you want to. We can leave your cares behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. She blushed every time their eyes met, but he looked so cool and confident and happy. In fact, he was the happiest person she'd been with in a long time, and his joy was infectious. Near the end of a song, he tried a maneuver that was completely out of her league. She zigged when she should have zagged, and he inadvertently pulled her arm too hard. She gave a little yelp of pain before falling back against him, nearly sending them both into a nearby bar stool. He regained his balance in the nick of time, pulling her back to the safety of the dance floor. And Random, again, the only Random, interrupting my story again, and I'm loving it. Thank you, Random. Thank you. Wow. There was no pain in her arm, only the bliss of being so close to him. He held her tightly and laughed into her hair. The beer he'd given her when they arrived was making her insides glow, and she wondered when he would kiss her again. The DJ took down the lights, powered up the strobe, and bathed the dancers in a blanket of stars as True by Spandau Ballet started to play. I know this much is true. She felt him bury his head in the nape of her neck and inhale deeply. He held her tighter and murmured, I love the way you smell. Random, what's for lunch today? I don't know. I don't usually eat lunch. I usually only eat once a day. Wow. And that eagle is super cool too. I love the eagle. Thank you, Gloria. You know, I got to stop myself right now, and I'm like almost in tears because I have to tell you guys, this morning I woke up and I looked at my my YouTube account where I get paid, and I noticed that yesterday I think I made 20 cents. And it's not often that I only make 20 cents. I mean, I'm appreciative for every penny. But I thought when I woke up, it's like, wow, 20 cents. That's not very much. I wonder if I'm losing my je ne sais quoi. And then this happens. And I'm like, wow. Wow. So thank you. Thank you so much. This means so much. I don't care about lunch. I love your interruptions, Random. You keep it up, my friend. This is like really amazing right now. Thank you so much. And the rest of you also who support the Beach Report. You guys have all been so awesome to me. And I know we all have to battle these horrible trolls, and they say really nasty things to me, but sometimes to you too. But we have such good people on. I will never stop doing this. Nobody will ever stop me. I love you guys. Okay, I'm going to try to read again. Feel free to interrupt. Oh my gosh, where was I? Okay, here's a good part. The DJ took down the lights, powered up the strobe, and bathed the dancers in a blanket of stars as True by Spandau Ballet started to play. She felt him bury his head in the nape of her neck and inhale deeply. He held her tighter and murmured, I love the way you smell. Yes, I always have faith. You're right, Papa Bear. It's the faith. It's the faith. The feelings that emerged were new and thrilling. I'm loving the trolling. Random, you are the best troll ever. Darla, don't touch Random. Don't touch Random ever. I risk my life for free on YouTube, but I guess money talks, BS walks. Well, Random Rants, we love you too. We do. I just got to say, though, this is really helpful, what Random Accounts is doing for me. It means a lot. It really does. So don't be jelly. Don't be jelly. Not everybody can do what Random Accounts is doing, so I do appreciate it so very much. We all do, Random. We all do. And we still love you too, our favorite Yowie. So don't feel like you're second best. We don't have any other Yowies on, so you're the only one. We still love you. I am not hanging out with that guy later. I gotta drink something. Oh my gosh. You guys are killing me here today. Okay. Oh my gosh, fake Random. I can't even with this. I don't want it to stop. Okay. The few experiences she had with boys in the past had frightened her more than anything, leading her to believe that sex was something only guys wanted. Now she understood that girls wanted it too. Wait, who's blocked on all other places? Oh, are you talking about our Yowie? Yowie's always welcome here. The few experiences she had with boys... Oh, wait, I'm rereading. Okay, this sudden revelation gave her more confidence in being so close to him, and she felt as if she were reacting in a dream as she softly brushed her lips against his neck and felt his hands travel up and down the length of her body with increasing intensity. Nice curves, he whispered hotly in her ear. As he brought his head back to come face to face with her long chocolate strands of hair stuck to his mouth. I know, my hair's gray now, but it used to be brown. It gets hotter, Michael. She brushed them away with a maternal gesture just before meeting his laughing lips in a kiss that quickly became serious. Oh, wow, two-stroke. Who exactly are you talking about? Thank you. His embrace became tighter, and if the hard lump against her thigh was any indication, so did his shorts. Then this sudden intruder frightened her, but he just kept on dancing, seemingly oblivious to her shock. Another one of those amazing kisses, and she could feel her body go into overdrive. Pressed against him and loving it, Leah pushed away unwanted thoughts about her mother's disapproving glare. Leah had never felt like this before. Her body was on fire with desire, and knowing that his shorts would point out noticeably in her direction if they were to part, she did not resist his obvious need to hold her even closer. The song ended, and they stood there, locked together, as she began helplessly giggling against his shoulder. "Stay close to me as we walk to the bar," he whispered with a laugh. She stood on his feet and let him walk her over to a bar stool. He hopped on the seat and pulled her into the space between his legs, his arms around her shoulders, and leaned his head forwards to kiss her softly. "Thanks, babe," he said, to which she giggled self-consciously. He turned suddenly serious, taking her face into his hands. You really get me going, you know that? She blushed and tried to look away, but he held her still. I want to be so close to you, he told her. Scott, she began, but he silenced her with another kiss. The bartender passed by, and Scott's arm shot out in time to get his attention. 2 beers, Gary, he shouted before turning back to her. You do want another one, don't you? Are you trying to get me drunk so you can have your way with me, she teased, feeling closer to him than ever before, especially after their last experience. Think it will work? Many have tried. None have succeeded, she answered, hoping he'd get the message that she was still a virgin. Wow. Like, I need to know some more of what's going on here with the randoms. Do tell, random. The beers arrived, and she decided that it was a good moment to go to the ladies' room and calm down before drinking any more. She excused herself and trotted off to the bathroom. Waiting in the long line, she spotted Jane. Hey girl, what's shakin'? Shouted Jane above the music. I'm on a date with Scott, Leah squealed. And things are going well, aren't they? Commented Jane, a devilish grin on her face. You're practically glowing. Thank you, random. Leah self-consciously brought her hands to her burning cheeks, shocked that Jane could see it. Tina, thank you so much. Oh, I love you, Tina. You are so sweet. Tina's been following me for, I think, about 10 years now. Leah self-consciously brought her hands to her burning cheeks, shocked that Jane could see it. Jane started cracking up at the look on Leah's face and disappeared into the next empty stall, leaving an embarrassed Leah to wait for her turn. Alone in the graffiti-laden stall, she contemplated the toilet with revulsion, deciding to squat rather than let a millimeter of her skin touch the wet seat. Skillfully, she did the deed and got out of there fast before stopping for a look in the mirror, which was crowded with girls applying lipstick, brushing hair, and gossiping. Jane was fluffing out her hair in front of the mirror. Pulling a pink lipstick from her pocket, she passed it over to Leah. Looks like you've been doing some major kissing, she commented, making Leah blush again. Here, sweetie, put this on. Thanks, replied Leah as she sheepishly took her friend's advice. And don't touch your hair, Jane added. That long, tousled look is great on you. Leah handed her back her lipstick and laughed. Thanks, Mom. No prob, just don't do anything I would do, Jane cackled as they headed out past a row of girls and back to their respective dates. Seated at the bar, Scott was smoking a cigarette and joking with the bartender. Thinking it was so unlike her, Leah boldly greeted him by wrapping her arms around his chest from behind and whispering a shy, "Hi there," into his ear. He turned and put his arm around her, pulling her into a warm hug before kissing her hello. Do you know Gary? He asked her. She shook her head no, and Gary waved from behind the bar. Hey, Leah. Nice to meet you, she answered. Darla, feeling as though she were on another planet where no strangers exist. Hi, Gretchen. I know, it's so nice. They're giving me so much love, Gretchen. I'm glad you're here. We're doing a reading now. Gary's an old friend from back in high school, Scott explained to her as Gary washed glasses and grinned. I don't know what's going on, random. I wish y'all wouldn't fight. I don't know. But I do appreciate the love. For real. It's a real thing, just saying. It doesn't mean that I don't love the rest of you. Back to the story. You ready to rave tomorrow? Gary asked Scott. Better believe it, dude, he replied before telling Leah. Gary's throwing his annual fish barbecue on Wednesday. Hey, Leah, you're invited too, Gary shouted above the music. 3rd Street, bring your girlfriends. Sounds like fun, she said, smiling at the realization that Scott was obviously going and now she would be too. He hopped off the bar stool and offered her his seat. Without thinking, she lowered her eyes to his crotch, which made him laugh. Everything's cool now, he assured, making her blush furiously. Yeah, listen to Darla, respect each other. She raised herself onto the stool, took a sip of the cold beer, and looked at the crowded bar. Billy Idol was crooning, "Hey, little sister, what have you done?" And she noticed Jane and Jake heading for the dance floor, hand in hand. Okay, Michael, it's okay, thank you. Slowly, she turned her head just far enough to look at Scott out of the corner of her eye. It amazed her that she was in schooners with this hunk of a man, not to mention that she was even able to get into the place because she was underage. Suddenly, she realized that he was staring back at her. Feeling okay? I think I've had enough to drink, she admitted. He took the beer from her hands, placed it on the bar behind her, and whispered in her ear, "Want to get some fresh air?" Thank you, Random. Yeah, Random, you do need to relax. What Random Accounts is doing for me right now, it really means a lot. So I greatly appreciate it. It doesn't mean that I don't like anybody else. It doesn't mean that you are now less than. It just means that here's a person who is supporting the Beach Report. So you should thank him too, because it is really nice and it is really helpful. And it feels like a blessing, honestly. It really feels like a blessing. I can't thank you enough. And you can have respect. You don't have to disrespect somebody who's showing me a great deal of respect. So everybody be cool. Okay. I think I've had enough to drink, she admitted. He took the beer from her hands, placed it on the bar behind her, and whispered in her ear, "Want to get some fresh air?" "That's a good idea," she whispered back. He took her hand and helped her off the bar stool, taking a last swig of his beer before putting the empty bottle on the table in front of them. I'm not upset with any of the randoms, just so you know. I love you both. They made their way towards the front door, weaving through the throngs of suntan surfer dudes and beautiful beach bunnies. There was still a line to get in, and the bouncers were hard at work with their flashlights looking for the magical summer of '62 and birth dates before that on people's driver's licenses. That's right, Gretchen. We know the difference between random rants and random accounts. See you often on the stream and are always interacting, and we appreciate you, random rants. And we also appreciate you, random accounts, because I will say this right now. Nobody has ever donated this much to the Beach Report in a super chat before. Never. This has never happened. And I'm overwhelmed and I'm grateful. So thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to the rest of you who have always supported me. I've just never seen this happen before. You have never seen this happen before. So it's a blessing. Thank you, CK. Thank you. And I'm trying really hard right now not to cry, okay? "See ya, Scott," said one of the bouncers as he opened the door for her. The night air greeted them like a warm hug as the music faded behind the closing door. It really helped. Still holding hands, she walked with him through the parking lot. The throbbing beat of the disco retreated into the background as they strolled towards the bay. The sky was backlit with stars, and the shoreline of the mainland glistened in the distance as the black bay water gently whispered against the dock, making boats bob lazily against the slip. "It's hard to believe that you don't have a boyfriend," he told her. "You're so cute. You need protection, and I need a girl to care about." She drank in his words and squeezed his hand. They stopped in front of a wooden piling, which was just the right size for a chair. And he backed against it, pulling her close. In the next moment, he was kissing her. Thank you. She tasted beer and cigarettes, but it bothered her not at all. She was adoring his kiss, the way he ran his tongue across her lower lip. It made her feel like passing out. Kissing him was comfortable and erotic at the same time. The thrill of his tongue darting quickly inside her mouth caused a tingling in the back of her knees, and she broke away to catch her breath. For a moment, she just stared at him, thinking he reminded her of a powerful, purring cat, his green eyes dancing in the moonlight. I've been waiting for that, he said, smiling slightly and staring right back at her. She thought then that he was every boy she'd ever had a crush on, all grown up and 21. By the way, she's only 17 in this story, so there's that. That was quite a kiss, she told him, and started to giggle, self-consciously running her fingers through her hair. I love your wild hair, he said as he picked up a lock of it, his hand brushing up against her right breast in the process. The laughter died at once as she felt a jolt of electricity that coursed hotly all the way down to her toes. He brought her hair to his face and caressed his cheek with it. She watched him in a trance as he gently pulled her closer and inhaled her scent, his other hand running his fingers through the ends of her hair that cascaded down her left arm. He began kissing her again, but in a playful way, his lips barely brushing her as he held her captive with her hair. Wild hair, he said again, breathing the words into her mouth. He was getting a bit tangled in her mane, so she took both hands and pulled her fingers straight through her scalp like a comb until it all fell neatly behind her back, a move she'd perfected throughout the years. You are so beautiful, he told her, which made her smile coyly and did wonders for her composure. She may be young and naive, but she'd heard this line quite a few times before and wasn't impressed. She enjoyed hearing about her wild hair much more. So she took a thick lock of it in her fingers and ran it softly against his cheek. He closed his eyes and she studied his nose, running her hair down the bridge of it. He pulled her closer and then she felt it again. Self-consciously, she began to giggle. Her hair tickling his neck, he began laughing too and opened his eyes. I think you should know something, she practically whispered, afraid of his reaction. I know that you really turn her on, he boldly replied. She blushed and pulled herself from his embrace, looked out across the bay, and chose her words carefully. It was usually so easy for her to give boys the brush off, but she didn't want to turn this one down because there was this feeling inside of her that told her that this guy had potential. She'd known it ever since she first spied him surfing at Pavilion Street Beach. I'm not very experienced with men, I mean, she stammered. Are you trying to tell me you're still a virgin? He had a teasing grin on his face. Well, yes, she answered. He took both of her hands and looked into her eyes. I don't want to rush you into anything, babe, he told her. I just really want someone to care about. He lightly kissed her lips, and she felt a curious weakness in her knees as she kissed him back and wondered if this was the way love felt. The experience was completely different from any other time a boy ever tried to shove his tongue into her mouth. He sighed deeply. If I don't stop kissing you now. She laughed and drew away from him, nearly frightened by the intensity of the feelings that were pulling at her insides. Maybe we should walk some more, she suggested. Holding hands, they headed back past schooners and down a side street that led towards the main drag. This is my book, Red Hawk. It's an 80s romance book. I wrote it. So I'm reading from a book that I wrote myself. And I will let you in on a little secret. Everything that I'm reading to you in this book right now, it really happened. And it happened just like this. I'm a journalist, not a fiction writer. Just remember that. Holding hands, they headed back past schooners and down a side street that led towards the main drag. How long have you known my sister? He asked her. Ever since I moved into the Leeward last month. So you live in the same boarding house as Big Doug? Yeah, I share a room with this girl, Alexandra. We went to high school together. They rounded the corner to come upon the busy boulevard and waited on the sidewalk for the light to turn. Cars whizzed past them and he suddenly pulled her closer for more kissing. It was the first time she was ever kissed on a street corner, and she hoped it wouldn't be the last. It wasn't. The traffic came to a halt and some little girls started, ooh, out of their daddy's car. Leah turned bright red and pulled him across the street as quickly as possible to the other side. Oh my God, I am so embarrassed. He hugged her from behind and kissed the top of her head. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, he told her as they resumed some semblance of normalcy, walking toward the beach road. I just can't keep my hands off of you. She laughed and grasped his hand tighter. This was by far the best night of her life, and she tried to figure out what it was about him that made her feel so enamored. Since coming to the beach, she'd been bombarded with attention from guys. Despite the 2 beers she drank at Schooners, Leah felt stone sober as she walked down the street with Scott. On the other hand, she was floating on air. She used to wonder what it felt like to fall in love and how she would feel when she thought it was happening to her. A sudden thrill ran down her spine as the thought occurred to her that she had finally met her first love. And he noticed her shiver. Are you cold? He put his arm securely around her shoulders. Just a little, she fibbed and nestled closer to him as they walked. When they passed the town library, he pointed it out. I painted that building last month. You paint buildings? She thought he was an artist. Yup, he replied. Houses, buildings, libraries. She stopped in front of the library and inspected its facade. What do you think? Nice job, she replied, nearly giggling at misunderstanding him. In her previous life as a sheltered doctor's daughter, she'd never met a house painter before. If her mother had any idea that she was falling in love with a house painter, Leah knew she would sorely regret her decision to let her 17-year-old daughter live at the beach unchaperoned. In fact, ever since she left home, Leah seemed to be making a habit of doing things that her mother would freak out over. However, Mom was still so involved in her own problems that she was probably glad that Leah was out from underfoot, listening to her phone conversations and learning way too much about her parents' wrecked marriage than any child ought to know, especially a young and impressionable teenage girl. Mark. From now on, whenever you pass this library, you'll have to think about me, he told her. I can live with that, she said. So, where do you work? At the mall, in the Army-Navy shop. Really? He had a good laugh at that. I can't picture you selling Army-Navy stuff. It's my roommate over there. She was getting used to being teased about her job, but she didn't care so long as she got her paycheck and could take care of herself for the first time in her life. It pays my rent, she told him. Just giving you hell, he replied. Did you just graduate from high school? Yup. So you're what, 18? 17. I won't be 18 for another 5 months. Oh, Papa Bear, that's the greatest what you just said. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. All the money aside, Papa Bear just made my day. I feel like I'm watching a movie. This is awesome. Right there. That's all I ever want. That right there is all I ever want. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Papa Bear. It means a lot. Okay, back to the story. So you're what, 18? 17. I won't be 18 for another 5 months. Jailbait? He started laughing. You're jailbait. What's jailbait? Her dark eyes narrowed at the unfamiliar, sinister-sounding word. Oh, that just means that you're not 18 yet, and I could go to jail for getting too close to you, if you know what I mean, he added quickly. You mean you could get arrested for sleeping with me? Leah had never heard of such a thing. You got it. Then I guess we better not do that, she declared. I wouldn't want you to get in any trouble. Suddenly, the thought of going all the way with him scared her, and she was almost relieved to hear that there was an actual law against it. In fact, up until that moment, she'd been intending to save herself for marriage. Losing all sense of time and distance on this magical night, Leah unexpectedly found herself standing in front of the leeward. She turned to tell Scott goodnight before she could say a word, he began kissing her. I know, Mark. She could hear Richard's radio from his window upstairs. She took in his breath and kissed him like she imagined a lover would, surprising herself and making him moan. Guitar and piano played softly in the background when he said, "You know, I could really fall for you." He gave her another spine-tingling kiss and repeated, "I could fall for you like a ton of bricks." "Go for it," she whispered. He made her feel like a real woman and not a little girl anymore. "Good morning, Donnie." "Can you have visitors?" he asked. She felt a mixture of fear and desire. "I don't think that would be a good idea," she replied. Leah was crossing the threshold of adulthood that evening, but there was no way she was going to let him get any further with her tonight. She knew, even in her innocence, that she was not ready to cross that line. "Leah, I don't care if we do anything. I just want to wake up with you in my arms," he told her, nearly melting her resolve. "I have to go up now. My roommate's home," she reluctantly replied, still in his embrace. "Okay, babe, but you know I'm going to have to see you again." "Are you going to wait another 2 weeks?" she asked him, unable to keep the resentful tone out of her voice. He leaned down and kissed her again before saying, 2 days. "You're going to Gary's for the barbecue, right?" "I suppose so, but I do have to work that day," she demurred. "Well, what are your hours?" 2 to 4, she answered. "I'll pick you up at 6. He kissed her before she had a chance to answer him and turned to walk back to his car. The moment he drove out of sight, Leah bounded up the stairs to her room where Alexandra was getting ready for bed. "So, how was your big date?" "Bowling alley," Leah began breathlessly. "I think I'm in love." "Yeah?" Allie looked skeptical. "This time, it's for real," Leah added, mindful of the fact that she'd made that same kind of statement to Allie after Connor had kissed her. "I'm a little worried about you, Leah. You were never like this in high school." "What do you mean?" Leah became a little angry with her friend for trying to put a damper on this most perfect of nights. "Well, you keep going out with these random guys." Random. "And every other day you're falling in love. Get real, Leah. You're heading into some very dangerous territory." "I'm not picking my favorite random. That's not fair." Oh, Sam. "Oh, yeah, you would know all about it, wouldn't you?" Leah countered. "You're the one who told me how great it is to have sex." Alexandra's eyes opened wide. "You didn't?" "No, I didn't. Look, Leah, I'm sorry. It's just that I don't want to see you get hurt. I mean, in high school, you slapped Lou Thompson when he tried to kiss you in the locker hall. Seems like you're kissing everyone and their brother these days." Leah had never really minded the condescending tone of her more experienced friends before, but now that she could literally feel herself maturing, it made her angry to be reminded by Alexandra that she was still just an inexperienced little girl playing grown-up games. Good night, Random Rants. Usually, Alexandra enjoyed giving Leah the lowdown on what it was like to have sex. Now, she was acting all high and mighty about it, like she didn't think Leah could handle the reality. I just picked. Not wanting to ruin the night any further, Leah put her nightgown on and prepared for bed in angry silence before stomping into the bathroom. When she came back, Alexandra was already in her bed. Leah crawled into her own and sighed heavily. "Don't be mad, Leah," Alexandra whispered in the darkness. "I just don't want to see you get into any trouble." "Hi, Donna." "Whatever. You just don't have a clue, girl." "A clue about what?" Leah sat up in her bed, not tired at all. Bars, boys, sex. It's a whole different world, Alexandra answered cryptically. Hi, Jerry. Well, how am I ever going to get a clue if I keep on living life like Jane Eyre? Leah retorted. You're the wiener. Her anger melting away because she really wanted to talk about her evening with Scott. Better to be safe than sorry, said Alexandra in a sad, sleepy voice. Allie? Yeah? Are you sorry about sleeping with Jeff? Or what's his name, from California? Yeah, I'm sorry about it, Alexandra sighed. This was news to Leah, who always got the impression that Alexandra was proud of her carnal knowledge. What are you sorry for, Allie? Alexandra turned towards the wall and was silent for a while. Allie? It's complicated, Leah. Sex complicates things. Look, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. Okay, good night. Unable to sleep, Leah thought about the past evening with Scott and how he had kissed her. The memory made her breath catch in her throat, accompanied by an unfamiliar yet wonderful tingling in her chest. She drifted off to sleep and dreamed that she was getting hot and heavy with him on a boat in the bay while her parents jumped overboard and swam away from them in the smooth, black water. That's the end of that chapter. You guys, don't fight, don't fight. We don't need any fighting on the beach report. Because, here's one. Would you like to hear this chapter? It's called How's Your Whore? That's right. How's your whore? Wait, I'll show it to you. How's your whore? I'll read this one to you now. Now we're going a little bit in the beginning of the book. This is before all the boy stuff started happening. This is a story of coming of age, by the way. This is a story of identity and adoption, parenthood, childhood. You're so welcome, Papa Bear. But wait, there's more. All right, how's your whore? 1983 should have been the best year of Leah Stern's life. It was the year she would graduate from high school, the year she would turn 18, and the year she would go away to college. New Year's Day was spent celebrating on skis in Aspen, Colorado with Dad, 16-year-old Jim, and 13-year-old Pam. Flying down a seemingly endless slope of sparkling snow, the carefree teenager was excited about the gleaming future that lay ahead. The future was bright, had to wear shades. Are you leaving? You're not leaving, random account. Don't leave. Home again in Pittsburgh a week later, 1983 abruptly turned into the worst year of her life. Your mother and I are getting a divorce. Wait, garbage can. I'll wait just a minute. It's always so much noise on this road. And I'm at the end of a cul-de-sac, by the way. For those of you who are just coming on, I am reading this book that I wrote about my own life. It's called Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? And it is a story about how I was adopted as a baby, and then I was stalked by my biological father. Garbage bin on a Saturday. You're going to get it on down there in Fort Lauderdale. Right? It's so crazy. All right, here's where the real stuff goes. You do have to go. Okay. For now, you are random. I gotta say, at this point, you've really helped me. You've blessed me so much, random accounts, and I thank you so very much. It doesn't make Random Rants a bad person or anything, so please don't take things badly, but be happy for me that Random Accounts blessed me the way he did today. It means a lot. It means it means a lot. Like I told you, I think I had my worst day ever yesterday. And as far as, I was thinking maybe people don't like the beach report anymore. And random accounts, you really helped. So thank you so very much. It means a lot. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Home in Pittsburgh a week later, 1983 abruptly turned into the worst year of her life. Your mother and I are getting a divorce, her father announced solemnly to his children after summoning the three of them into the living room for a family powwow. They all nodded sadly. Her brother and sister had seen this coming for months. And even though she refused to believe them when they talked about it, Leah knew that it was coming too. It was a bitter pill to swallow. She'd always been so proud of what she thought was a happy family, but she could deal with entering broken home status. A few of her friends had been through it, and they survived. Before she had a chance to offer her support, her mother started screaming at their father from a wing-back chair in the corner of the living room. Tell them the other part. Tell them the other part. Alarms went off in Leah's head. Other part? What other part? The three children looked at their father expectantly, but he looked at their mother with tears in his eyes. Joanne, he begged her, please stop. I don't think this is the time. Tell them, she ordered, and he suddenly began talking about another woman. In Leah's head, the next few sentences he said became garbled and unconnected to the man she'd known as her dad. I'm not getting married anytime soon, Leah heard him say, and that was when she snapped into attention. Married? Leah jumped to her feet and stared with disbelief at her father. First you say you're getting divorced, and then you're talking about getting married? How long has this been going on? How long has this been going on? Remember that song? That was running through my head. Again, he turned towards her mother, who was just sitting there in her chair, looking fierce and sad at the same time, tears streaming down her face. There was a long silence, and when he began staring off into space, Leah commanded her father's attention. So? What? He just blinked at her, looking uncharacteristically lost and confused. How long has this been going? She tapered off the sentence as she realized that he was crying and waited for his reply. You're right, Marky Mark. Darla is super special. Yes, I'm still in Florida, Barbara. I'll be here until September. A couple of years, he admitted. She felt like the biggest idiot on earth. How could she not see this coming? Her brother and sister had run off somewhere, leaving her alone to demand answers from him. Maybe they already knew, maybe they didn't want to know, but at that moment, her whole belief system was being shattered, and Leah needed all the facts. Who is she? Where does she live? How old is she? Is she Jewish? She interrogated her father relentlessly. Only minutes before, he had been her beloved daddy, but now he was a stranger who'd been living some kind of lurid double life while they waited until 8 p.m. to eat their dinner because he always came home so late. She thought about the way he called her a sneak with a sneer on his face when he found out that she was hiding a cache of candy under her bed when she was 11. Darla. She remembered the fury in his voice saying, don't you dare lie to your mother. That time last year when they found out that she ditched a day of school to shop at the mall. She remembered the fury. On this particular night, her father suddenly showed himself to be a lying, cheating, home-wrecking. Leah searched for the word that means male slut and ended the evening by calling him a gigolo before stomping off to bed. Her respect for him was gone. The next morning, Jim and Leah followed their father down the staircase and into the foyer and watched him get his coat out of the closet as usual. However, on this particular morning, things were considerably different because he was carrying a suitcase along with his bag of full patient files. I hope someday you'll be able to understand. Good morning, Charity. Jim cut him off before he could say anything more. Dad, I won't ever understand how you could do this to us. The teenager looked at his father with utter disgust. I'm not doing this to you. I'm not leaving you, he tried to reassure them. This is between your mother and me. It has nothing to do with you. But Daddy, you and Mommy are married. You made a promise before God, Leah reminded him, and what he said next nearly knocked the wind out of her. I never intended to be faithful to your mother. He informed his two eldest children like he was talking about the weather. Leah looked at him in shock. Her blind trust and sacred vows crumbled to rubble with the force of her father's bombshell confession. Suitcase in hand, Dr. Barry Stern began heading down the basement steps to the garage. At that moment, Leah found it unbelievably easy, if not necessary, to do something she would have never dared to do in the past. Standing at the top of the stairs next to her brother, who had tears running down his face, Leah felt a powerful rage explode from her chest as she screamed down at her dad, "You asshole. If you go now, don't ever come back." Don't go, Jim bawled, watching him walk down the stairs, head hanging low like a naughty dog. As he hit the landing, Barry looked at them with tears in his eyes, but his intention to leave was clear. Go find your whore, Leah spat as he turned the corner. Go find that bitch and ruin her family too. I hope the two of you enjoy your wonderful sex. I hate you. Go to hell, Jim chimed in before running off to see how their mother was doing. Leah, on the other hand, just stood there in the doorway, listening to the sound of the garage door going up and him opening the door to his car. When she heard the engine roar to life, she ran over to the front door of their house, opened it wide, and stood on the porch as she watched him drive away. She raised her middle finger in a salute to his departure and watched his car glide down the driveway, onto the road, and out of their lives, before running back into the house and collapsing against the door jamb, where she cried until she thought her head would explode. After a little while, she felt the hands of her brother pull her into the foyer gently by the shoulders and set her down at the foot of the curving staircase. He was already taking over as the man of the family. Come here, honey. She looked up to see her mother standing at the top of the staircase, just outside the master bedroom. Her face was swollen and blotchy looking, like her head was in danger of bursting too. Her voice sounded hoarse and she barely spoke above a whisper as she beckoned her eldest daughter to her side. Leah moved up the stairs slowly, feeling as though she had just run a marathon. After what felt like at least 10 minutes to drag her wearied body up the stairs, her mother took Leah into her arms and pressed her daughter's face into her generous bosom. A fresh barrage of tears erupted, and Leah cried miserably, making the front of her mother's shirt all wet and slimy. Despite everything, Leah still expected her mother to say something about her foul language, but she didn't mention a thing about it, just held her daughter and cried right along with her. The rest of that day was spent in bed, like she was sick. Leah still had to go to school the next day, and as she headed into Spanish class that morning, unprepared to take an important exam, her new reality suddenly kicked in. My dad left our family for a whore this morning, she confided to the teacher, thinking it was a pretty good excuse. She smiled to herself at the shocked look on his face as he quickly gave her another day to study. All right, good night, Random Rants. In the weeks and months that followed, the gossip mill began churning out stories all over the city and suburbs as everyone they ever knew was forced to take sides in an escalating war where her brother, sister, and she got to be the mentally tortured hostages in the middle. At first, it was Jim and Leah against their father. Pam was supporting him for a couple of weeks until he failed to show up for her 14th birthday, which disappointed her so much that she abruptly turned on him too. The three children rallied around their mother, trying to bring her out of her misery and hatred for her soon-to-be ex-husband. We love you, Mommy. You'll be okay, they tried to reassure her, but Joanne kept saying that soon he'd be the one with the family all around him, and she'd be tossed aside like yesterday's business, because that was the way he wanted it. And she knew only too well that Barry Stern always got his way, no matter what. Leah blamed her father's girlfriend for the destruction of her family. Hi, Lou. All of a sudden, she made a mortal enemy out of someone she didn't even know. The woman in question lived across town and had a husband and children of her own. A former patient, this woman had been having an affair with Leah's father for the past 3 years. She constructed a mental picture of the woman by fitting together all the information she'd heard from listening to her mother talk on the phone to her friends. She heard all about the woman's long blonde hair and big plastic boobs, courtesy of her father. How she used to be a model. Leah compiled this information to characterize an immoral hussy, a barfly, a shameless shiksa, who she unceremoniously dubbed the whore. One of Leah's friends at school was also going through the same kind of fan-flying shit that she was, and they used to stop each other in the halls between classes to ask, "How's your whore?" "Mine's just fine, screwing up my life, thanks. How's your whore?" The two girls joked about it in public, but inside their broken homes, the whores were doing immeasurable damage. Hurt and betrayed beyond belief, Joanne Stern became a bitter, vengeful version of her former self. On the one hand, she would often remind her 3 children, he left us for her. And then she would brag to her friends that she would never try to turn her kids against their dad. Then again, how could the children not turn against the defector who betrayed their family and their mother in so many callous and obscene ways? Hello, Christ is risen. After learning that the whore's 2 daughters were the same ages as her younger brother and sister, Leah sensed that her father was trading them in for a new and improved family as she got the details about the 2 pretty teens vying for her place in her father's life. The girls, Kara and Danielle, were supporting their mother's affair with Leah's dad. She learned from her mother's conversations on the phone that they had actually been covering up for the whore, so their own father wouldn't find out about their mother's affair. The whore's husband was the one who finally called Joanne on the phone to tell her the truth. He knew something was going on when she started gaining weight, Joanne recounted, snorting at the irony. He told me that she would jump off the scale each morning and start swearing about her weight. Leah stored all of this incoming information into a new section of her brain as she tried to get to the murky truth about what was happening to her family and why. She grilled her father at their frequent meetings, which were often held in restaurants and usually ended with Leah crying into a plate of uneaten food. "Are you going to live with her children?" Leah asked him during one such meeting. Barry promised Leah that he would never love the whore's children and would never live with them, yet she wondered how long he could put up with the hostile treatment he was getting from his own children. She knew it wouldn't last, because already he was refusing to let Leah speak derisively of the whore. "Don't call her that," he'd snarl before softening. "You don't even know her, but once you do, you'll see she's a wonderful person." "I never want to meet her," Leah declared, although she really was intrigued. "A wonderful person would never cheat on her family like that. She's a whore." Thanks, Gretchen, telling me. Leah said the words boldly and expected the resulting painful tug to her hair, which only confirmed that her father was moving on without them, defending his new turf. During the months that followed, Leah watched her father drift away from them. He wore clothes she didn't recognize. He lived in an apartment that had no familiarity, and he was in love with someone she didn't even know. This jarring shift in plans forced the teenager to reevaluate her own notions about love and marriage. Thank you, Gretchen. Nothing made sense to her anymore, as her family had become a battle zone, and she felt that her father had transformed everything they'd ever trusted into a despicable lie. Once chosen, she now felt discarded. She was incredibly disappointed with the way things had turned out. Joanne and Barry had become concerned that their eldest daughter was too thin and sad-looking, and they sent her to see a child psychologist twice a week. Leah has basically stopped eating in an attempt to gain control of a situation that is completely out of her hands, her psychologist told the Sterns. She knows that her father values beautiful things, and she thinks that by losing weight, she will gain her father's approval and hopefully win him back for the family. So sad. 5'11", Joanne had always been a big girl. However, over the years, she had put on a lot of weight to the point that she had become obese. Her face was framed in fat. Her stomach stuck out way past her bosom, and the only part of her that wasn't affected were her long, shapely legs. As a plastic surgeon, Barry was in the business of beauty, and he was embarrassed by his fat wife. A demanding husband from the first, Barry expected gourmet meals for dinner and was displeased with anything less than perfection. Joanne lavished love and attention on her husband as she tried to keep him happy, but he always found something to gripe about. She began to use food as an outlet for her feelings of low self-worth after being berated time and again by her husband as though she were a naughty child. Over the years, Barry had become increasingly critical of his wife, muttering, "Fat bitch," under his breath to his children when she took too long getting out of the car. That damaged me. The first time Leah heard him say that, she was shocked. But at the same time, she wondered why her mother couldn't control her weight. Losing weight was something that Leah had become an expert in, since all of her mother's diets were passed on to her like scripture. "Don't ever get fat," Leah warned her daughter repeatedly as Leah reached for a second cookie. It used to make Leah angry that her mother was so observant about every morsel of food she ate. So she started buying Pop-Tarts on the sly and eating them in the woods behind her house. That wasn't the only thing she was sneak eating behind her mother's back. And when it started to show, Joanne told her daughter, "I'm going to start to have to call you Crisco because you're fat in the can." When Leah read the book, The Best Little Girl in the World, which was about a girl who had anorexia nervosa, it changed her life. The girl's anorexic symptoms looked like effective diet advice to Leah. Just before Barry left their family, Leah was 5'3" and weighed 105 pounds. In the months after his departure, she had starved herself down to 88 pounds. Her brother had started calling her Cambodia, but Leah considered it a compliment. Every week, the sullen teen would sit in the psychologist's office and stare at the ceiling, or count all the objects on the woman's desk, or fall asleep right in front of her. Leah privately thought that her parents were just throwing away their money, but she didn't care. She just kept going to the woman's office, waiting for something, anything to happen. Sitting around feeling sorry for herself was driving Leah crazy, so she decided to take action. She became a super sleuth, staking out her father's apartment and even going as far as to copy his keys so she could sneak into his bachelor's pad when he was at work. She would take Allie and Sarah and even her little sister Pam on some of these information gathering expeditions. Once, she noticed a note tacked up next to his bed that said, "I love you more." The handwriting was unfamiliar, and when Leah saw it, she showed her sister. "Look, Pam, the whore must think she loves him more than we do." Pam began crying and refused to ever go there with Leah again. Leah's meetings with her father were always strained and angry because Barry was done putting up with his daughter's accusatory attitude. "You open your mouth and shit falls out," he told his daughter. Sure, it was Joanne who was feeding the teenager all of her lines and her incessant questions. During the next few months, Barry would fly into a rage whenever she dared to call his sweetheart the whore, sparking emotional outbursts in all of their favorite restaurants. So embarrassing. Leah Stern's youthful perceptions of life and love had become a confusing jumble of contradictions as she sat on the staircase at home and listened to her mother talk on the phone, revealing lurid tales of how Leah's father had betrayed them all for lust. It made her more curious than ever before about the apparent power of sex. Boys had been sniffing around her force field since she was a preteen, but her shyness always came off as arrogance, which sent most of them scurrying away towards the friendlier girls. The boys whom she did feel comfortable enough to befriend were no threat and not attracted to her in the least. However, if they wanted more than friendship from Leah, she froze them out, disappointed to the point of heartbreak. "I thought they were my friends, but it seems that boys just want one thing," she lamented to her friends, who rolled their eyes at her. In senior high school, Leah considered the only really interesting boys to be out of her league. Became so nervous in their presence that she had trouble speaking and preferred to hide from them when she would see them coming. As a result, they were not able to notice her interest, let alone her. So she quietly pined for each new crush and decided that they wouldn't want her anyway. However, a crush wasn't love. She knew that there was something very magical and compelling about romantic love, and Leah wondered how it could be so different from the love that she had for her family, the love she had for her dog, the love she had for her friends. Sexual influences surrounded young Leah even while she made Toll House cookies in home ec class in 6th grade, listening to Rod Stewart sing about being sexy. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know. If you really need me, just reach out and touch me. Come on, honey, tell me so. That song blew my mind. Early in her senior year, Leah met Alexandra Sample. Allie was a loner at school because her dad was always relocating their family for his job. Leah liked hearing Allie's exciting tales of having lived all over the world and her active love life, her boyfriend in California, her beau in France, and the college guy she was dating. Alexandra was breathtakingly beautiful, which automatically made her one of the most hated girls in school. A long, blonde spill of hair as fine as silk framed her china doll face in light wisps of gold. And then there were those full, pouty lips that always glistened beneath a fresh coat of frosted pink lipstick. Everyone called her Pinky at school, but Leah's pet name for her friend was Bowling Alley. And she was the most exciting person Leah had ever known. She told Leah tales of boys creeping into her room at night through the windows, boys calling her in desperation on the phone, boys being devastated when she broke up with them. Unlike Leah, who fancied herself to be invisible to the boys, Alexandra was magnetic to the opposite sex. Now, Leah was also spending time with another new girl in the neighborhood that year named Sarah Martinelli. Always coiffed and dressed to the nines, Sarah looked like the Italian version of Marilyn Monroe. Sarah's parents let her drive her own car to school because she was going part-time to tech school to become a hairdresser. She often saved Leah from having to ride the bus. Sarah was going steady with Mark, who was a couple of years older. They always kissed with their tongues, which made Leah feel very uncomfortable. And there's the air conditioner. Her friends' lives appeared quite exotic to the sheltered Leah, and it embarrassed her that they were having sex while she was getting distraught over French kissing and hickeys. I don't know. Can you guys hear me with this air conditioner in the back? Give me a sound check. Do you want me to keep reading? Or it's just a few more pages of this chapter? Let me know. It's super hot out here. And now my fan has no more juice. Just wait till you get a load of the next book. 7 years in Switzerland. All right. If Darla says yes, then that's all I need to hear. All right, Gretchen, thank you. Leah's friends' lives appeared quite exotic to the sheltered Leah, and it embarrassed her that they were having sex while she was getting distraught over French kissing and hickeys. Thanks, bag. Alexandra told her, "Wait until you see one. They're disgusting." One what? Leah had no idea what Allie was talking about. You know, a guy's thing. What's so disgusting about a penis? Hadn't you ever seen one before? And I suppose you have? Well, I've changed baby boys' diapers, and my father likes to walk around naked whenever possible, Leah stated, thinking that this is normal behavior for a dad. Knowing now it's not. My father would never, Allie declared, before adding, okay, you may have seen a thing or two, but you've never seen one in action. With her knowing smile, Allie had a way of making Leah feel so immature and pathetic for still being a virgin. The way some of her friends talked, it seemed like this was a bad thing. All along, Leah had very high expectations for her future lover because motherhood had been her earliest objective. She wanted to create the perfect experience of a wanted baby coming into the world, which required the perfect man to provide the ideal setting. Oh, no, we've got a shark. Oh, thank you, Random. I'm so glad you're a member. That's wonderful. Welcome. Welcome to membership. Leah secretly thought of her parents as somewhat defective because they were unable to produce successfully, but she also knew that their loss had become her advantage because if her own biological parents were so messed up that they had to give her away to an adoption agency, then she was born lucky. She knew that she was on Earth for a reason. She believed that future generations were counting on her, so she never doubted for 1 second that she wouldn't reproduce. Leah was also sure that the father of her future children was out there in the world somewhere, waiting to fall madly in love with her. How will I know him, she wondered. That still small voice in her head replied, you will know everything when the time comes. Oh, Todd Tier, whoa, Random. That gets you a free book, by the way. Well, not free after all the money you just spent, but you get a book. So you're going to have to send me your address. It was a frustrating answer for young Leah, who wanted to know everything now. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I was reading from my book, Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? And thank you so much to Random Account, who is now in my Todd tier. And I only have 2 people in my Todd tier, and I'm super excited about that. You do have to send me your address because you get a book when you join my Todd tier. And I just send it to you. But you do still get the peacock feather. And I'll sign it too, absolutely. So thank you so much. Do you hear that noise? Do you hear the cheep, cheep, cheep? Let's see. Where are they? Oh, there they are. Check this out. See the baby chicks? See, there's one just sitting there under the covering with the cars there. Hello, Virgin Islands. I know, that could be Darla. That could be Darla. Come on, babies. Where are you? I'm too far away, but I hear them. Do you guys hear them? Random. I am going to say this. I feel so blessed by you. And I really, really appreciate what you've done for me today. It means so, so very much. So today, I have to admit, you are my favorite. But I also have to say that everybody else on the Beach Report who has been with me for more than 10 years, I love you all too. And if you never, ever donate to the Beach Report, I still love you. And I'm so glad that you're here. Not everybody does. But I love it when you guys are listening to what I'm writing, what I'm reading. I want you to know that this show, The Beach Report, which has been around for more than a decade, will never go away as long as I still have breath in my lungs. I will always do The Beach Report. And the reason is because you guys want it. I wouldn't do this if I were not fully supported by my audience. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have anybody out there supporting me, you know, like, hey, Jill, sell this and we'll give you money. It doesn't work that way for me. Every product that I sell, every book that I write, every book that I publish, it's my own. Well, I don't write the books that I publish. Someone else writes them, but I publish the books for them. So I just want you guys to know that I greatly appreciate this, and I work really hard for you every single day. I always show up, so you never have to wonder if the Beach Report will go away. I will not. And I will not ever even say I'm going away. Well, unless there's a good reason for it. But I love this show, and I love you guys, and I love what I do, and life is good. So thank you. Thank you again, Random Accounts. Everything you did today, it meant a lot, because I mentioned earlier, I got up this morning feeling like something might be wrong, that maybe my show wasn't doing that well. And then this happened. So you didn't know it, but you actually proved to me, God proved it to me through you, that I'm still relevant and that I must keep doing the Beach Report forever and ever and ever. We give thanks to all who join and donate. We all benefit from it. That's right. Gretchen is right. Because my life, my everything I do, it really belongs to you. I don't really live without you guys. And it's a kind of weird way to live, but, and Tina, sweet Tina, thank you so much. Oh, we've got a first-time viewer. Hello, Wally. I am from Florida. Well, I'm actually from up north. I was raised in Pittsburgh, but I'm a Floridian now. I've been here for, well, since 2015, when I published my first book, Like It Was Yesterday. Here, I'll show you this so you can see. Like It Was Yesterday. Whoops, so big. A Journalist's Files since 9/11. This is an award-winning book that I wrote and published all by myself. We love you, Jill. God bless all the seashells and everyone throughout the whole world, including our wonderful president. Oh, yeah, Mac. Yep, you're right. Trucker Tom. My cousins actually knew him because he lived down the street. Anyway, I'm an author. I'm a journalist. I'm an editor. I'm a boutique publisher. And I do it all by myself. And the only acknowledgement I get is from you guys. So I can't tell you how much it means to me. All of your support and all of your love. And all the 107 people who liked my show today. Yes, we all appreciate you because I'm working for everyone here. This isn't about me. It's about all of us. And I'm your Gen X leader. Well, Darla. Darla's a little bit older than I am. But she helps. She helps a lot, actually. All right, you guys. I'm incredibly blessed. I'm going to say ciao for now. And tonight, I'm going to take you guys to a concert. I'm not exactly sure which concert, but I think High Truth Rises. I think we're going to go listen to some rock and roll tonight. Darla is amazing. You are amazing too, Tina. All right, you guys. I love you all. We'll see you on the next Beach Report. Ciao for now.